The Sumerians weren't an empire in the traditional sense, but they were pioneers. Flourishing in southern Mesopotamia over 5,000 years ago, they built the world's first true civilization, a collection of fiercely independent city-states like Ur, Uruk, Lagash, and Kish. And when these cities clashed, they invented something new: organized warfare itself. Sumerian armies weren't made of career soldiers. They were farmers, craftsmen, and priest citizens who traded their plows for spears when conflict called. Their motivation? Survival. Control of fertile land, life-giving irrigation canals, and lucrative trade routes along the Tigris and Euphrates meant everything. Lose a war and your city could starve. But here's where they changed history: bronze. While neighboring cultures still relied on stone and copper, the Sumerians mastered alloying copper with tin to create bronze harder, sharper, and far more durable. This wasn't just an upgrade, it was a revolution. Bronze-tipped spears could pierce leather armor, bronze axes could shatter wooden shields. For the first time, technology gave one society a decisive edge on the battlefield, and they knew how to use it. Sumerian warriors didn't fight as individuals, they moved as one. In tightly packed formations 6 or more ranks deep, they presented a bristling wall of spears, their bodies protected by shields of woven reeds covered in leather. Behind them, archers unleashed volleys of arrows tipped with bronze, softening enemy lines before impact. We actually know what these battles looked like. Carved into stone monuments like the famous stele of the vultures commissioned by King Enatum of Lagash around 2500 BCE, we see the phalanx in action, disciplined ranks advancing, trampling fallen enemies while vultures circle above. It's one of humanity's earliest war records, and it's chillingly detailed. Now, about cavalry, you're right, there were no horsemen. Horses hadn't yet been domesticated for riding in this era, but the Sumerians did pioneer another game-changer: the battle chariot. Heavy, four-wheeled vehicles pulled by onagers, wild donkeys rumbled across the battlefield, not for archery yet, but as mobile platforms for shock and awe, carrying elite warriors into the fray. War in Sumer was brutal, intimate, and unforgiving. No grand strategies, no flanking maneuvers, just formation versus formation, shield against shield, until one side broke. The victors took prisoners, often shown on monuments being marched away, or in grim scenes having their bodies stripped and left for scavenger. Yet from this raw early violence emerged the DNA of all future warfare: standardized weapons, tactical formations, military leadership, and the very idea of the army as an extension of state power. The Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, even the Greeks centuries later would refine these ideas. But the template? That was Sumerian. If you're fascinated by how ancient battles shaped our world, like, comment, and subscribe to Blue Red War. Because history's greatest stories weren't written in peace, they were forged in war.